Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues of the IPCC, I'm pleased to have the opportunity to speak to you at your first plenary session after the adoption of the Paris Agreement at COP21 in December. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate the newly elected IPCC chair, Dr. Husang Lee, and express my sincere hope that your leadership will continue the strong working relationship between the IPCC, the UNFCCC, and the wider UN system. Last year's Paris Agreement is a landmark achievement for everyone who helped make it happen. We now need to ensure that it becomes the turning point for the world it promises to be. The agreement unites the world in action on climate change and holds great potential to transform economic growth to respond to your assessments of the science. The ambitious agreement reached in Paris would not have been possible without the IPCC. You provided governments with a clear understanding of the urgency of effective action. And sound science surrounding risk of disruption to the climate system helped private sector actors understand that climate change poses a significant risk to their business models and their bottom lines. The Paris Agreement addresses the full threat of climate change head-on. It sets an upper limit on acceptable global risk from climate change at well below 2 degrees Celsius warming above pre-industrial levels by the end of the century, and establishes the aspiration to limit warming as close to 1.5 degrees Celsius as possible. It recognizes the scientific reality that in order to achieve this, global emissions need to reach a balance with absorptive capacity in the second half of the century. Parties to the agreement aim to reach global peaking of emissions as soon as possible and to undertake rapid reductions thereafter. The Paris Agreement also includes a global stocktake process to ensure that we stay on track. The stocktake process will be based on the best available science, including assessments of the IPCC. And there is a system for regular reporting, review, and ramping up of ambition. So, my friends, the hard work starts now. You will be making some difficult choices in this session regarding how to achieve more in less time and how to allocate resources to best serve the international community. I ask that you undertake your discussions with the same collaborative spirit that produced success in Paris and seek your answers by looking through the lens of the Paris Agreement. You have before you the request by the COP for a special report on the path to limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. I know you have other very important topics for special reports to consider, but I respectfully encourage you to respond positively to this very important request from the COP. I ask you to choose the other topic for special reporting based on how that report can help governments fulfill obligations made in Paris. And I ask that you examine how the IPCC schedule can serve the global stocktake cycle so that sound science continues to inform policymaking. I'm also encouraged by your effort to more clearly communicate your results to the wider global audience and ask you to continue these efforts to maintain the momentum that action by non-party stakeholders and the general public represents. We know that even after net global emissions peak and start to decline, the physical impacts of climate change will continue to increase. Greater resilience can prevent the socioeconomic consequences of these impacts from increasing in equal measure. Your work communicating impacts, vulnerability, and adaptation will therefore be more vital than ever before. Dear friends, I'm confident that through your continued dedication and hard work, we can come to a greater understanding of how humanity is affecting the climate system and whether or not our efforts to address climate change are working as intended. Today, I congratulate you for your part in the success of Paris, and I count on you to continue to produce the science needed to ensure sound stewardship of the one planet we have. Work over the next few years will be crucial to achieving a new model of growth that is climate safe and sustained over generations. I urge you to help the world capitalize on this opportunity and turn it into a legacy we are proud to leave for our children and their children. Thank you, and I wish you a most productive session.